Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about the latest studio album from Aborted entitled Vault of Horrors. But first, I have a very quick special announcement to make to all of you right now. The Metal Meltdown is hosting a very special St. Patrick's Day party and live stream this coming Saturday, March 16th at approximately 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Metal Meltdown. We haven't done a St. Patrick's Day party and live stream in a while, folks. I think the last time we did have one was also when we introduced the Heavy Metal Super Smash Brothers tournament. So I'm pumped to get back into it. Anna's gonna be there, Chompy's gonna be there, we're gonna drink, shoot the shit, play video games, have tons of fun, and everyone watching this is invited. That includes you, not you, fuck off, you, however, you're invited. Also you, and of course, who could forget you? It's just not a party without you, bud. You have to be there. You fucking have to. Make it happen, I swear to Alright, now that we've got that out of the way, let's officially start talking about Vault of Horrors, the 12th full-length studio album from Belgian death metal masters and icons Aborted, who, over the course of almost 30 years now, have been pretty consistently releasing high-quality material every couple of years or so. They occupy a territory similar to that of Cannibal Corpse and the Black Dahlia Murder, I would even argue, you know? You can always kind of count on them, rely on them to release maybe not groundbreaking material, but really good and well-made and entertaining material. Over the course of the last decade specifically, Aborted have kind of been on a fucking roll with non-stop back-to-back bangers like The Necrotic Manifesto, Terror Vision, Retro Gore, Mania Cult, plus also killer EPs like Termination Redux, Bathos, La Grande Massacrada. Aborted just don't miss. They hit the target every fucking time, like fucking Legolas or some shit. They don't even know how to fucking miss. And yeah, unsurprisingly, Vault of Horrors also yet another banger. Not only do Aborted not know how to miss, but they're clearly not interested in learning to know how to miss. They don't know and they don't want to know. I should note, I'm tempted to tell you that this is very much the same old song and dance for Aborted. Not that that's a problem, because they've been very good at performing aforementioned same old song and dance, but the point remains, I'm tempted to tell you that. I'm not going to, because there are at least a few twists and turns this time around on this Aborted album, courtesy of the massive roster of guest musicians brought into the mix here. And I'm not talking about 2 or 3 little guest stars. I'm not talking about a couple cameos and guest guitar solos. I'm talking every single song has a special guest from like a massive monumental death metal, deathcore, extreme metal band. I'm not kidding, folks. You got Alex Aaron from Despised Icon, you got Ben Durr from Shadow of Intent, you got Matt McGahee from Cryptopsy and the Vox and Hops podcast. You've got Johnny Cardallo from Carcosa and Angel Maker, Francesco Paoli from Flesh God Apocalypse, Oliver Ray Ileron from Archspire, Juno Award-winning Canadian technical death metal crew even makes an appearance. And whether it's intentional or not, I would say that Aborted are sounding a little bit more inspired, musically speaking, on this album as a result of having this revolving door of awesome guest talent. There are some different riffs and grooves and progressions on this album, some different dynamics, some different soundscapes. You have some really beefy, meaty, muscular deathcore grooves here and there. You have some really high-octane cattle decapitation-esque tech death shredding and guttural assaults. And it's all meshed quite nicely with everything that already makes Aborted such a compelling and entertaining band. Opening number Dreadbringer, for instance, featuring Ben Durr from Shadow of Intent, has some really epic melodic sections and some really pummeling, pounding grooves and breakdowns and some towering sections with like blast beats and like really dramatic guitar work, complete with menacing gutturals, snarling highs, some ambient, atmospheric passages and textures here and there. It's a genuinely pretty strong opening number with a lot of punch. Then there's Insect Politics featuring Jason Isaac from Ingested, which does a really great job at meshing really vicious, in-your-face, modern death metal carnage with, like, death grind manicy and mayhem. It really does feel like a good, solid combination of Aborted and Ingested, and maybe just a little bit of cattle decapitation as well. Then there's The Shape of Hate featuring Oliver from Archspire, which shows Aborted going into, dare I say, more technical and progressive death metal territory. I mean, it still is, at its very core, an Aborted song. It's meaty and gnarly and gory as fuck and super intense and in your face, especially with Oliver's trademark shotgun guttural vocals, but also it does have these more majestic and regal sections, these more progressive atmospheric textures, some more fantastical guitar work later on in the track. Like, call me crazy if you like, but there are some sections here that would be just as welcome in a Fallujah track as they would be in a more straightforward Aborted track. The closing number especially, Malevolent Haze featuring Ricky Hoover from Of Sulfur, is a bona fide banger and bruiser. Blistering, in-your-face, unrelenting kind of like deathcore, death metal in the vein of what Of Sulfur does, but with the added dynamics of classic Aborted. Like, this thing is genuinely pulverizing. Love the way it finishes, too, with this really elongated, anguished breakdown with these massive guttural vocals. It's pretty fucking gnarly. My favorite cut of the bunch, though, would probably be the Golgothan, though, featuring Hal Mikrotsikos of Engulf fame. I apologize, I've probably butchered your name there. This is probably one of the more ambitious and cinematic cuts I've ever seen Aborted put together. Like, you have what appear to be, like, synthesizers or strings or some kind of, like, atmospheric texture, like, gently flying over top all of these really meaty, gnarly grooves and breakdowns in a very ominous and foreboding fashion, and you also have some more epic, soaring, like, pyrotechnics and some great twin lead guitar work. Everyone sounds amazing on this record. Everyone's putting in 110%. Every single vocalist, the percussion, the guitars, the bass work, all the different, like, production stuff, mixing and mastering, all the different textures and synthesizers and string stuff, that's all great as well. I do think production-wise, sometimes things are a little overcompressed, sometimes the bass is a little bit blown out, and especially when you have a bunch of different, like, vocal patterns and dynamics on top of each other, eventually everything is just swallowed whole by, like, vocal madness. But goddamn, the madness remains enticing, and if the worst thing I can say about a modern death metal album is that it's a little too compressed for its own good, then I think we're in the right ballpark, you know? Like, I think we're doing okay. I honestly really enjoyed this album. I mean, I expected to enjoy this album, but I didn't expect Aborted to, like, kind of switch things up just a little bit. This album actually has some versatility and flexibility to it, which I really appreciate. I'm feeling a very solid 4 out of 5. I think if you like Aborted, you're more than likely to like this album as well. That is, unless you're, I don't know, somehow praying that they were going to go ahead and do like an old-fashioned brutal death metal death grind record, in which case you're probably shit out of luck. In fact, on that note, I will say, out of everything Aborted has done, this is probably the most they've strayed from like being like brutal death metal and death grind. But like, whatever, the people who want to hear that stuff are probably just going to go listen to that stuff, so no harm done. Fuck it, I suppose. It was a really cool idea to have all these different guest singers on the album, and it's cool to see that they brought their own influences in, and that Aborted was inspired by them to kind of switch things up as well. Once again, 4 out of 5, Aborted kill it yet again. Fucking hell. Again, they don't miss. They don't know how to miss. They're never gonna know how to miss at this rate. God damn it. Holy shit. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.